happy Winstrike pod here at the FACEIT Global Summit, and I'm joined by Tixu because we've got to talk about what happened in that game. But how did you actually get to the final circle? Tell me about your journey there.
It was a pretty rough circle for us. It yoinked away from us pretty much, and we tried to get into the circle, but we got into the circle in third circle, and we went in the blue the whole time. So hashtag TSM rotations, but then we got to the circle and just sent it in the middle, and then we got pretty free position, I would say, and then the circle didn't go anywhere else.
So let's talk about the 3v2 situation against Shoot to Kill. What happened?
Do we need to talk about this?
We do, I'm afraid. You've got loads of fans in Finland watching. Come on, Tixu. Second place out of 16 is not bad at all. So you can talk to me about this. Trust me.
So when the 3v2 situation started, I was in the back covering, so them and Jorski got like close to them on the ridge, and SDK started holding me, and this next circle yoinked away from me, and I wasn't in. I had to run like an open field, didn't have any cover, and so I died, sadly.
R.I.P.
And I mean, SDK won this time, but they're not gonna win the next time.
I feel quite emotional now, Tixu. Thank you so much for being vulnerable with me and sharing your emotions. I know it's hard for someone from Finland, but I want to ask about the confidence in the team, because you guys got through PEL in 4th place, and you are one of the underdog teams here. But you seem to have resilience. I remember when we chatted before the final match of the group stages on the elimination day, and you pulled it together. So I feel like, actually, when you guys have had a team talk with your coach, you can really pull things together. It's just closing seems to be a problem.
I mean, in the elimination stage, we had pressure because we can drop down and not get to the finals. But now in the finals, we don't have anything to lose. So we just play our own game. We don't care if we are 16th or first. It's just good experience.
So finally, what is the aim here? Is it just to get some experience, or is it to win?
I think it's mostly because of experience, but of course, I like to win.
Woo! Oh, here we go. There we go. It turns out, Winstrike, you're the crew favorite. So thank you so much for talking to me, Tixu. Good luck. We're going into Erangel next. Can't wait to see what you guys pull out the bag, but we need to head back to the desk.
Don't you worry, Winstrike. Torilla Tavatanas, you can fight on forwards here for Finland, as well as all of Europe, I think, I suppose, when it comes to the PEL. Of course, joining me, I have Toffees and I have Avenger as well. Guys, we're shifting gears here, moving into the
to the 4th gear.
Ooh, hello.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Cheeky.
Tixu is such a nice lad. I love this guy.
Is that all you wanted to say? Thanks very much.
Yeah. I mean, okay, I'll expound on that. These guys, I was a bummer to see them come in second there. You can see how they took it pretty hard. They're hard workers. They have a big drive. They're always looking to improve. And they even told me that, they don't feel like they've really mastered their style of play as a team yet. And I think part of it is what Frankie brought up, which is closing matches has been difficult for them. They can kind of get to that place, but their decision-making gets a little rusty there. That said, I think this experience is going to have been huge. I don't think they're out of it just yet. In fact, I think SDK proved that anybody still, well, almost anybody, still has a shot. A 26-point game is an absolute insane jump, but it's happened twice. And we've seen a 25-point game. We saw a 23-point game. So those games are totally possible.
I think something to say about Winstrike, Avenger, and I think Toffees has even mentioned it in the past on this desk as well, is that they are, if you were going to hedge your bets on a team that was going to get consistent mid to slightly higher level
consistently
placements,
above average,
it would be Winstrike. They did it in PEL towards the last remaining weeks, and they pretty much do it here as well.
I think they're going to be kind of around the top 6, top 5. You said it a few times. We said it a few times. They're consistently above average. But for them to move out, I think let's talk about the world leaderboard again.
Yep. I mean, this is time to look at it. 78 points for OP Gaming Rangers. They've let it slip away, and now they're going to a map where they drop at the south end and are going to have a tough time if any of the circles are to the north. Shoot to kill, exactly the opposite. With their severity drop, they're going to be praying for middle or northern circles. Armory Gaming historically has been weak on Erangel. Liquid is contesting with 17 every single time that they drop, so all 4 of the top teams have challenges they have to deal with. Which still, that means it leaves the door open for 5, 6, 7, and 8.
Avenger, looking at the middle pack here, who are the teams that you're keeping an eye out for to do well on Erangel? I'm thinking middle pack to try and kind of onslaught the top front runners here.
Well, there's definitely 4 Angry Men. We have to take these guys into consideration because they are looting quite central, but if they are contested by Airwolf again, it's going to be maybe some free points for them. It was here. We saw in the first 3 games that they got a lot of early kills. We saw them in the game where they got the 4th first kill of the match within the first 6, 7 minutes, I believe it was. So if they continue that, they will potentially also contest for the top, and them looting that central is a huge benefit for them.
My issue with 4 Angry Men is they're in this position on the back of one of the most exquisite plays ever, but the chances of a play like that to turn that many points in one game is kind of a long shot, right? It seems like we're not seeing them get 4 guys to a winning position there. To me, OGN Entis Force is the big threat in that middle pack because these guys have been pretty consistent on Erangel. They know how to fight. I mean, this is where they train for battle drops. So I think that they have, if you're looking for middle pack upside, OGN Entis Force.
When it comes to earlier circles, maybe in the middle or up towards the north as well. Yeah, I want to talk circles. How does OP Gaming Rangers adapt? Do they adapt? Do they go earlier from military base? Because we know that they're probably going to end up being there. How do they try and keep their lead?
There's so many interesting parts of this. So, Rangers, number 1 right now. Shoot to kill, number 2 right now. They're looting on the opposite side of the map, like literally north to south.
Severny Millie.
So the circle is going to determine a lot for these teams. Obviously, you have a huge benefit. We saw OP Rangers have 2 military circles. That's that kind of the start benefit for them. If you see 2 shoot-to-kill circles like above the river, if it ends somewhere up there, Rangers not going to win this shoot-to-kill. They're probably 100% going to be in the top 3 right there. But for the rest of the teams, if it's kind of in the center, then these teams, they're going to have a rough time coming in because they're coming in from the north and the south. They're going to be coming slowly into the circle compared to everyone else because they're going to be the furthest away from the initial kind of central circle. So if we have 3 central circles, we're probably going to see someone come from our kind of top mid pack, jump in there, and kind of take it away from these teams as well. So it's very interesting, and the first circle is going to be so important.
If I'm OP Gaming Rangers, I don't go to military.
Yeah, I agree.
If I'm OP 100%. Gaming Rangers, I know people are hunting for me.
Where would you go?
I would drop. I know that the far coast next to Gatka is wide open. Primorsk is wide open. There's a few trash drops sort of in that area north of Farm that are still relatively untouched. And I think if they hard drop as 4, they can lock up a compound. Their loot won't be the best. But right now, if they get a north circle, they drop to 4th place, in my opinion. And I don't know if they can come back from that without getting a military. It's just a big risk. Plus, you know, as Sims brought up earlier when we were chatting, this has become a regional race. There's also that side of the coin that if the other teams know if they can drop OP Rangers, if they can knock them down a few pegs, maybe they get a regional spot for their group of people instead of Korea getting it.
Well, it is time. Let's find out. It's red alert, ladies and gentlemen, as we only have 3 games remaining to find out who is going to be able to become our Global Summit champion here live from London. Let's get into it. It's going to be Erangel. 3 more games left. Let's head over to the commentary team.
Woo! And what an honor it's going to be. 3 remaining matches, and I know they're going to be blinding Erangel to close out, and there's so much to be said, so much to be seen, and I'm glad they touched on that region race that we could be seeing now.
It's Easter Sunday, and I think by the end of this one, someone's going to be getting a rather large present in the form of a massive check and a trophy. As the desk touched on it, this doesn't just turn down from teams fighting for the #1 spot, but regions fighting for those global championship places.
Now we're going to be able to see this kind of from the springboard of this map. We're going to be looking to see if any of these teams adjust their drops to maybe help out someone in their region. Now keep in mind, it doesn't go to the team necessarily that does this, it goes to the region. So anyone within that region can benefit going into that major event down the line, the big boy, the PGI. So that's in the back of their minds, and we're going to keep tabs on this because I'm seeing early drops from Team Liquid here.
Liquid have readjusted. This is an interesting one. Finally, they decided to bite the bullet and say, okay, we know for a fact that Pachinki, that has been given up to 17 Gaming. They've turned and face and moved away from it. Now, the question is, Lauren,
where do they go?
Does that show a sign of weakness to teams here now for these final 3 games? There's 3 teams here. They've landed a team. Liquid. Oh no, Envy's here as well.
Has this backfired?
Oh no. So you have these split compounds. They'll be able to confirm the ferry pair. They'll fall back. There is Envious in the distance. Envy, they'll get some scrap loot. They may lose a couple of vehicles here and there, but depending on where this circle goes, Envious, if they take the long woods, they could box them in. They won't get too much gear from those 2 houses.
Well, you say that. AK, 16 on the circle.
My. Well.
Wait till you see this.
Well. That's a lot of water. And more importantly, that split the 2 islands. You would have to base emphasis on this going to the main head of Erangel, but still, if a southern shift comes in, it's going to be a party in Novo.
Where are these Envy boys going?
Let's just...
Are they going to... Were they...
Oh, Venerated.
Venerated, you've got to soak it. I mean, oh, Samty. Samty might have caught a glimpse of a pixel out of place, and Samty might be going hunting. Is Samty about to try and catch Envy in the heels here? There's a mini. Packcaps has got a gun as well. Oh, Samty. Samty, do you know what you're about to do? There's fire coming in from afar. That's Jeems. Samty does not have his gun out either. This could be deadly. Packcaps could completely destroy him. Gun now in hand. Samty knows what's going on. Oh my God, this is terrifying. What a start. Liquid are fighting for the entirety of Europe and their placement. Packcaps is just over that hill.
It looks like
yes, Samty, run away, please. Peel away.
Wait, are these shots coming in from the backline from a distance of somewhere else? They have been tagged in the back and they will be forced to... Why is Venerated still in the middle with nothing?
I don't know.
You need to run away from this one.
I'm a bit worried about Liquid here because Airwolf, in the meantime, they've got to go over to Primos. They've got that loot. Liquid don't have much now.
I mean, they have... You can play off the back of Ferry Pier because it is quite long. They'll get the gear. It's Envious for me, who don't have much. You can go back to the bridge area. There is a couple of compounds there. But you have the rest of Aerowolf just off to their north in the yellows, the cliff houses. Yeah. So any kind of loot that Envious wanted to get together, there is a potential option where you could ask yourself, okay, boys, do we turn and face? Do we hit Sosnovka and maybe reposition for some gear? But they have to be careful. You have the mighty OP Rangers, OP by name, and OP so far in this competition by nature. They are top of the table. And Millibase, that's home turf for them. This could be easy pickings if Envious decide to try and bank in here.
Well, it looks like Envy. I don't know if anyone's watching this. I think they're okay so far. Yep, they're good. I don't see anyone able to find them, and it looks like Envy are out. They're going to bow out from that fight and find somewhere new to go, quickly moving in towards Sosnovka Island. I don't know how much information they have in regards to who's down there. They'll know, obviously, the OP Rangers are waiting on towards the actual Millie base itself, but, you know, there's still Novo with potential to be picked up loot. They're fine. I don't know if they want to commit that far. There's always threats that someone from Milta has already headed down there, so they can work their way through the scraps as we see it now. 4 a.m. There's a lot coming onto this eastern bridge just to the slight west of Milta. That bridge is about to be very, very busy. No one's setting up early. AFF aren't far from it, but 4 a.m. are about to take the road down. This is very risky from 4 a.m.
While the rotations do come through, I kind of want to set the scene here. Currently at the moment, we have Korea, North America, SEA, Europe, and China all sitting in the top 5. 5 different regions and only 3 places available for that huge $2 million event coming at the end of the year. Toffee's said it on desk. Once this is all said and done, we go into that last game. It's a region race. Everything is on the line. National pride, money, placement, you name it, it's going to come down to the wire in the very last game.
It certainly will do. Envy going to try and supplement the loot they got earlier on, and we are seeing a very, very compacted Milta, if you're Frankie.
Milta.
You already have 3 or 4 teams. I guess AG are still to the east. They're still a little further out, but again, it's going to be very condensed. Cloud9 are en route. Shoot to Kill are en route. They're up in the north. VSG heading around as well. The Western team's yet to fully move. You still have Windstrike there and Tempo Storm. And NIP also coming down from Georgia Pop.
We may see a really clever maneuver here from Rangers. They're down on melee. They know how it works. They know how to play it. I would probably expect them to look around the Novo area. They know with this circle, you basically can't go across that bridge. It's a death trap. Maybe look for them to reposition down to Novo, get ready for the boats, and then they either, okay, if the circle comes their way, they're happy. They can go to the bridge, they can lock down the small amount of island that will be available to play with, or they could take the boats and interject themselves on the opposing side of the island. There'll be a few places, especially just on that little shark fin area below the very bottom of the corner. Just off to the side of Milta Power, there are certain places they can get on where they will be safe.
There's that NIP rotation. We saw them kind of heading south of the mountain, but no harm, no foul so far. Everyone staying alive. This is when it's, you know, sweaty palms time, though. You don't want to make mistakes. You don't want to fumble. 16 teams still standing, 64 players, so everything is still available.
How's your heart been since the grenade we saw in the back room earlier on?
I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm scared
I've never
constantly.
seen anything like that. I mean, it's just picture perfect. Cook it, time it, bide your time.
I thought Hon Boyer would have been the MVP for me, or, you know, the individual plays coming out from AG were going to be the big highlight, but that just completely caught me off guard.
The fact that we have 4 AM fans in the crowd as well to actually react to something like that. I mean, it's not just a region thing you want to see. If you're a PUBG Esports fan, it's beautiful. It's picture perfect.
Okay, well, we have Liquid on the move. They did leave the ferry pier. They've got themselves a little boat, but all players in one boat as well.
But it's wide. You wouldn't expect anyone to be there, right?
You should be fine. Should. I say should. I always say should because PUBG does things. Ooh. And so can this mini with a 6 times. A bit of shooting here and there, and it looks like Mental was just considering if anyone else was going to be trying to pressure from the coastline already. Evasive maneuvers quickly kicked into gear from Aerowolf, and I do not blame them one bit considering it's the OP Rangers on this island. Envy have to be aware that ahead of them will be the OP Rangers, and Aerowolf aren't out of danger yet.
So the magnet has been turned on, and everybody is just focusing towards...
That boat's not looking so good, Rich. Yeah, he's bailed.
Milta Power. Little mini Milta Power Station is going to get very busy as everyone's now looking for that central point in the circle.
Let's head quickly over to the reporters. They've got something on with Team Liquid. Guys, what have you found out so far?
Yeah, as we're seeing on the screen, Team Liquid's rotation, all of them going on the boat. Since it's so much water in the circle, I'm really loving this rotation because they only know that OP Rangers is in South North Island, so there's going to be 0 threat for them. If it shrinks southwest, they're going to be able to take the island, and then if it shrinks to the northern side, they're going to be able to come in from Milta Power. So it's really smart rotation by Team Liquid in this circle. Back to you guys.
Yeah, something that's not such a smart rotation was NIP feeding in towards Shoot to Kill. That's a very scary prospect.
Oh, no.
And this could get worse for NIP, Vard. Oh no, the bike! He's flipped! It's over! It's done! NIP are out!
Oh no, they came into this in 16th placement and they go out in 16th again.
Ninjas.
Oh, just a moment of silence. Like, that is just so upsetting to see. But it also now puts an emphasis on, are they no longer fighting for themselves, Lauren? They've got 2 more games. They're fighting for the European region.
They're going to fight harder than that if they want a shot at it, and I'm sure the reporters can keep us up to date. We had to jump back into that, so apologies, guys, but we've got some action coming in, and I like what was said and what the boys over there backstage have been watching. The Shrink has come in. It's going to force the Rangers to take the bridge, actually. They're heading across that, and we do have the Rangers, speaking of, pulling up and hitting the deck.
It's a really nice, clever reposition. Menteel went across to basically guide the rest of the Rangers in. They will take the bridge. We said they may not do it for the potential point of it being a choke point on this map, but Menteel does find himself a place to hunker down. The rest of Rangers, they'll get a clear line on that beach. You can rotate all the way across. You're not going to go into Milta because it's just completely so condensed. You can bank on the beach side, just along that sand. Take this ridge line here.
Tempo's
it's not
very
quite
close
central,
17 gaming, by the way.
but it's a very, very good area to be able to read what's going on around you.
Yeah, Maluka might have just gone a little too far towards 17 Gaming. They have the opposing compounds in the very, very distance. You can see the logos. The Rangers have pulled up. They've found that eastern side.
I love that building.
And it's a lovely little kind of isolated area too. You don't have too much threat close by. AFF did have players, but they weren't that near. Now, let's keep on board what we're seeing. VSG heading down towards the lumberyard, but they are not alone. There are lumberjacks waiting, and it is Incognito. Waikakamukau is trying to look towards that kind of hilltop, trying to see if anyone silhouettes over the top. And I think the MVP of this tournament so far have been grenades, and here they start to go.
This is a really important fight because depending where this next circle goes, ejecting yourself from the lumberyard can be extremely hard. It's a downhill battle. Yes, you have trees. Yes, you have some sort of cover, but always, time and time again, waiting at the bottom of this foothill is teams with open arms. They know that Milter is going to be surprisingly busy. So if you don't win this battle, if you don't deal with this team, you're just going to be crushed. Either take a fight head on or try and run away with it. Either way, there will be teams splitting your bodies all over this map. It's going to be just from this top down, because there's so many alive. So I know we lost an IP earlier on, but the more condensed we get, the harder it is focusing onto Milter.
It is. We are seeing a big strike from Ronon there, finding that Kar98 a perfect place to put the bullet. So that's going to alleviate some of the pressure. Shoot to Kill are up in the north above this. They're still by prison. They may not necessarily feel the need to get involved, but they could be the next team in place. Everyone else is giving this a bit of a wide berth. They're leaving that alone. They don't fancy it. It looks like most people have dug in here. The only other issue I can see is the isolation of Duckmans. He likes to be alone, apparently. He likes to play on his own. And, well, the problem is he's got 2-3 players from Liquid very close by. All 4 of them are on the south. And the Rangers are also looking.
I mean, you speak about playing on his own. He's been doing well so far. Quite a few of them have from that roster. They can take their fights and they can break team spirit. Will Liquid be the next victim of this one? It looks like he's going to go for the reposition. They're clear for now. Don't forget about Envy. Still lingering in the distance. Still 4 men up. They had a tough time at the start, but they got the boat. They got geared. Got themselves back together. You can see now they're still looting at the crossroads, which, Lauren, you would have to suggest maybe they're lacking gear and utility.
I'm curious of what Tempo Storm are doing here. This is getting a little scary for me. They're in the background looking quite close to 17 Gaming, or at least some of 17 Gaming, the 2-2 split. Airwolf, though, are sadly on the receiving end of a hail of bullets. Tempo Storm do have the hillside, but 17 Gaming still have these 2 players here, Shox and YY, in the buildings themselves. But it is only 2. The other 2 on the other side, Monkey King and Shao, so they've been spotted, and that's going to ward away Tempo Storm. That crossfire from 17 Gaming, far too strong on that northern road that cuts down.
We saw them day one, unfortunately, get split between one team that had taken a 2-2 position. Still a good amount of water in play. Liquid looking strong. Now what Liquid need to do is they need to extend their arms reach. You can't get forced back on these hillsides, but you need to stamp out their own ground. If they take all the southern edge of this circle, they're going to have a lot of breathing room. But you look at that northern edge, north, south, east, west, all the rotations will come through. And with 15 teams still standing, there won't be much prime position here. That's why C9 are going for the hard push.
C9 about to crash towards Team Liquid, potentially. They might take the compounds over the road towards the north slightly, but it looked like Ibi was considering that.
Well, look, you either get in here now or you don't get in at all.
Team Liquid don't have vehicles. Uh-oh, Ibi's going to hear the cars, and he's a little late to the party here. Yep, turn around, Ibi. Get out of there, get out of there. Run, boy, run. You don't want any of it. They're going to have to settle with what they had. They came over from the boat, so all of their rotations, all of their pushes were going to be slow. And now they're covering fire from the rest of Liquid to try and support him back in. It's that found Nerf. And here comes Incognito blasting down the hills towards Armory Gaming. And let's see if this is going to be a crash again. Oh, my word. General's jumping out. He's up for the battle. Maybe a little bit hectic even for them as Insight's pulled up. He's spotted out at least 1 player.
I'm really surprised he didn't stand and fight his ground there. We spoke about the rotation coming down from the lumber mill. It's really hard. You've got all these trees and bushes on the floor which just deny, okay, line of sight, but also Mick going with a vehicle, rather difficult. Zamper.
Zamper's got moves. How are you alive?
Adam?
Oh my god, the support. Sharky found an angle. Zamper confirmed the kill. Somehow they're still alive. Purdy Curdy, though, eyes from above, could provide a little bit of an answer back here, but he has to be careful. Alo's just the only one next to him. Uncivil is on an island. He's trying to be revived, or should I say, trying to run on the other player, which they got done. He did just get dinked and forced off the angle. Sharky seems just enamored with taking this Harry Potter tower. Is that a good nade? It's not bad, but it is the go point. Your boy Dre is running up, shoot to kill. They're putting their players there. This is NA on NA action. Your boy Dre breaks in the building, gets the kill. Purdy Curdy goes down and gets completely eliminated as the rest of shoot to kill are nowhere near. Oh no, we got some EU on EU action in the southeast.
Move from NA on NA down to EU on EU. Team Liquid now will face off against Windstrike. Jorski goes down. Jempty up and over with the grenades we go. They will force on the backlines, and they came in all the way down on that eastern coast. Windstrike, they're having none of it. They've lost one player and said, you know what, boys? You've got cover. We haven't. We'll back off. But really, Lauren, where do they go? It's literally a beachhead. There is no cover there. You can take the defilade side and maybe deny line of sight. But after that, where do you go?
Envy.
Envy's gone? What? Was that a vehicle kill? Did they blow up in the vehicle on rotation?
Hexagon just battered them, whatever happened. I thought that was in Milta Town, so I don't know how that would have been a vehicle. I think that, I don't know. We're going to have to maybe watch that back on a replay if we can get it, because there were so many potential fights here. And again, that northern side just coming off the hill of the Lumberyard is, again, the boiling point of all of this. There is the new circle moving further north. If you're Liquid, you're in trouble. If you're Rangers, you're in trouble. And the teams in Milta are not going to have an easy rotation either.
And of course, you would have known at this point where the circle was going to be going. We do have that water multiplier, which will move it away in phase 4. It will definitely move up and it will move away, especially if you're in Team Liquid's position. But you saw the C9 reposition when they came down from the mountains. They took a foothold in front of them. Nerf's already been knocked, so they know exactly where Liquid are. How they get into this circle is going to be so hard. The Rangers, they've locked down that pretty much the final gap if you were Liquid to try and take a more westernly route. For me, they either go through C9 or they go through Incognito.
Yeah, pick which way you want to go. Windstrike going to be heading up on the northeastern side. Fire comes in from Juxi. Does get a tag or two, but it's not really going to get you the kills you're wanting unless you maybe get that bike in a bad spot. That does seem to make it towards Nuki and Co. So they're going to try and take over that northeast position as far up as they can get. Team Liquid, I don't know where they're going. Lucky in a way for them, you're looking at Cloud9 being the gatekeepers of the south. You still have the Rangers to worry about. They're still around here. And it's Zampa actually being caught off by Hulk. I thought that could have been 17 Gaming finding them there.
Uh-oh, that's 2 of Tempo going down. They'll be able to hold them here on the ridge line. Once again, it feels like Lumberyard is causing people problems as they have to come down. They're forced into engagements. You can use
VSG
all the
and
trees
17 Gaming
as much as you like, but if someone gets an eye line, and it looks like Monkey King has M16, then Chip, he's down. He's not quite dead just yet. They'll reposition. K98 comes out. Only has a red dot on the back of it, I feel. Smokes are up. They will go for the res. But it's something we know about 17 Gaming, Lauren. They don't rest easy. They won't sit back. I'd expect them to force this engagement, or at least throw some nades up and see what else they can do in terms of damage.
I don't know what loot they have or what position they're in, because we haven't seen them too much in this. But for now, VSG have gone from quite a powerful position where they were starting to really pin down Tempo Storm to having an issue of their own. They've got AFF down towards the southeast, and then they've got 17 Gaming to their west. Team Liquid are trying to make a run. Actually, Monkey King gets knocked. Oh my God, Monkey King's gone down.
Good Lord. Back to back, just pops him in the face and instas him. Something that you touched on at the start of this with the Liquid rotation, Lauren, right at the back at the very start. They had no vehicles. They didn't have any then because they beached it from the boat side. They don't have any now. They will be able to take that little hillside in the middle, which will provide...
Will they?
I mean, Jempty's already
not so
there.
good.
Whether or not they leave Samty back basically as an anchor or some bait for the rest of them to be able to survive. Ibby's actually been tagged, so they know where he is. Smokes are there. They built some sort of a reinforced wall to be able to get through.
Wait, 4 AM. I think that was just from a building. I assume 4 AM have at least someone nearby to be able to get that revive, so they should be okay. They're still in okay position. They were to the east of Milta as you come out of the town, so they've taken over one of the smaller compounds there. They're okay. They should be safe enough if they can push one of their players up quickly to get that revive on board. Incognito, though, turn themselves into the turrets here, and Samty's in danger. He's about a one-shot away, especially with that SKS, pumping out the damage. Jeems and Samty not looking so good at the moment.
I like the place that they've managed to secure. The little island will give them a level of respite. But the problem is that there's 2 teams just hammering down, raining hell from above. Insight has this elevated line of sight. 4 times on the back of the SKS, can just keep drilling them through the smoke. Jempty took a good position here. It's not good for Insight. Now they're the ones that are forced into the engagement. So how do they approach this? It's a bit of an open gap once you come out of the power station. C9, they can hold tight for quite some time because they're inside and maybe try and pick up the scavengers. The next fight we have to keep an eye on, which could be a big problem. Rangers, they need to make their move, and directly in front of them, it's 4 AM. The beast is waiting inside. We saw Captain do dangerous things in one of the previous rounds, and he has the elevated line of sight from the little turret tower. If he can see them coming down because they're on that ramp side of the hill, OPR, they're in danger.
They certainly are. I mean, there's a lot of teams in danger now. I'm curious to see how they adjust from this. Tempo Storm are just going to try and force the issue up north. They're running a very scary route. Gemty has been caught by Waikika. That was down towards the southeast, and it looks like Samti and Ibi are trying to push towards the mini Milta Power as well, so they're looking to try and find a place for themselves because they are in a really tricky spot. But so are now Tempo Storm. Look at AFF. They're still in a very similar position here. They're just over this ridge. Style is waiting and unleashes bullets with that AK, but he gets turned on by Meluki. That's great work, but the answer comes back in from NN, but everyone suddenly looks. 3 different teams just piled in on Tempo Storm.
Gemty's gone down as well. Waikika sees him. Job done. Nades are up and out for Tamira. That's an instant quick flick, your boy Dre. Takes one to the face. He's gone. Oh, no, the vehicle has exploded. He must have hit it, clipped a wall or something, but the reposition from Liquid is fantastic. Incognito didn't know they'd taken this ridge line, and all of a sudden they're just walking into their open arms. Ibi's down. There is some sign of a gap here. Samti also falls. Everything that Liquid have built going together is just collapsing at the seams.
Yeah, it's gone terribly for them, but you've got to look towards VSG as well. They're in a spot. K-Mine's unleashing towards the remainder of Liquid, just claiming those points. AFF, oh, the nade! Makes a bite to the window ledge as VSG sweep through the northern side. 17 Gaming in the meantime, creeping their way forward, but the crash on the compound towards the southwest is happening. 4 a.m. and the Rangers, Tamaria is pushing forward. Hipfire comes in, CPT says no, get out of my building, this is mine. Where's the next potential victim? He's going to readjust, find a new position to play from. Playing patiently, playing well. The nade towards CG98 is good, the confirm as well. 4 a.m., they're staying alive.
And the thing is, it's OP Rangers that have to make the move, right? They can literally just hold this point and say, well, if you want to get through, feel happy to just feed us kills. The more bodies they pick up, the stronger they become.
Oh, Babo is right outside. There's 2 players in this building. He's the last remaining player for the Rangers. He does have 4 nades. If he knows they're in here, he could litter this place and light it up.
But they would hear him cook that surely and then press the advantage.
You'd imagine so, but how does he play this? He can lock them into the house, he can play spoiler, but do they know he's this close by? I think they've heard him, I think they've seen him. Babo, though, in a bit of a scuffle, nade in hand. They're going to be awkwardly exchanging here. Godfrey's got to be careful, same with CPT. They look like they want to try and find a way out of this house, and I don't blame them. Shots coming in towards Babo, he has to be cautious about this, and that's from afar, that's 17 Gaming.
Yep, they'll have an eye line on the backside. Both 4 a.m. here, and OP out. That nade's banked off the back. It's done a lot of damage. He's gone. Godfrey claims the scalp. Babo goes down. Your number 1 seed at the moment at the top of the table. They're gone. 12 position for them. And all of a sudden, the map has well and truly opened up. VSG in the north. Miluk, last person alive for Tempo Storm, 17, looking to make an advancement on VSG. May hold them to gunpoint, but it's C9 who have to make the next move. They have to come out from that compound that has been such a respite for them, right from pretty much Circle 2 onwards to here.
They were good. But credit to them to do that, because Liquid are looking at the same compound, but they couldn't get there fast enough with no vehicles. So again, Cloud9 playing well. I'm going to go with that 24, keeping 4 a.m. on their toes. And speaking of that, CPT just went down. We're seeing Windstrike finally being found, and Jeems did get caught by K-Mine. So the NA action onto EU is concluded for at least that situation. We still have one of Windstrike members up and alive.
Timmy, the single hope here for Europe in this match. VSG, though, looking strong. 4-man stack, same with Aerowolf 1, same with Ventus 4, same with AG. All these big powerhouse names hungry for all the players who are basically playing edge just to slowly work their way in. They control pretty much 4 quadrants of the map and every single compound within.
They might have just got an opening here as well for Incognito to get in the circle. Profi is going off, though. He's found ZGG. That's surprising. Cloud9 somehow turning this one around. It looks like 4 a.m. have been eliminated.
5th on the board and 4th as well alongside Liquid going out. Not quite early, but certainly outside of the top 10.
AG are going off, Richard.
There's a kill. Not going to flush. Instantly comes through because Incognito, they have to make a press on this one. There's nowhere else for them to go.
Yeah, the problem is Insight can't move south. He's being kept in by Entus and by Cloud9. He knows that as well. He's just lost out on his other remaining teammate as AG waited for the crash to come in, but they were being kept safe by everyone else around them, and Insight knows he's kind of in a bad spot, so time to prone down, hope no one sees you, and pray for the best, because AG are looking scary here.
One quick nade, and it's job done. And again, the elevation will give them the angle to be able to basically stop him from doing anything. He is no real threat to them. As Juicy does go down, Blue zone confirms him, but the knock originally came through from AG, so they'll pick up the point regardless.
This circle is going to be very scary.
The teams that are in a difficult spot, okay, there's quite a few here. AG have to come out. Entus, they're looking solid. They can lock down the elevation with the building they're in. C9, there is a bit of breathing room in front of them.
Yeah, I need to see the terrain down there.
The difficulty is the northern half of that circle, Lauren. You basically got 2 compounds that will allow you to play on a level 2 side of it. VSG might just pray for dear life and hide within the woods. Like
they could do.
All the lumber is the only bit of breathing room they have.
Yeah, but they've got 2 snakes near them and 17 Gaming who just picked up level 3 gear. You've got AG able to create a crossfire, Aerowolf doing the same. I don't know what's going to happen here. Cloud9 have found a way in. They seem safe enough. I don't know the terrain they're on at the moment. That could be a defining factor. AG do need to move out though. Insight could play spoiler, again, another snake. But you don't want to get involved if you're them. You're playing for placement. You're trying to play this as late as you can. You do not want to move unless you have to. But AG could definitely do that. We got Duckman's doing the solo work. He's just plowed into the northern side. He's about to start gatekeeping VSG potentially by himself. Let's see who starts moving forward. VSG are putting Starlord into place now.
Really good play from Duckman. He'll get up there. Windstrike does go down, and being able to pick up snakes like that's only going to help him out. He's extending further towards the blue. AW finds 17. Put them in the coffin. VSG, they have to continue the advancement. Duckman's is pushing up into them. They're following as well. They want to pretty much get behind them, eliminate them, and then allow them to walk down upon this.
Oh, no bullets in the gun. He has to switch out to the mini. Maluka here is trying to hold off for Tempo Storm.
Look at the aggression.
The last remaining man. Duckman's is going wild on his own. This guy is just being unleashed. They sent him alone up here. He went of his own accord, and he is succeeding and then some. Tempo Storm's remain. It looks like he's about to go down, but he didn't expect Hulk to still be alive. But can Hulk get out of here? AG have 2 more players waiting, staring at that doorway, and Hulk falls. That was Incognito going down as well at the same time.
I tell you what, you have to praise that aggression. It single-handedly got them into the top 4 and into this circle. If they hadn't have pressed the advantage, if they had waited and played edge, they'd have been completely mopped up. VSG has just been demolished by an aggressive push that they absolutely did not expect.
Okay, let's see who remains. Let's take stock of the situation. 4 teams stand, 15 players. And that's actually a lot of teams with a good number as well. Indigo's nade. That's a big bit of distance. That was from the eastern side. So again, this is pretty bad for Cloud9. They don't have a great deal of cover. Both teams have a bit of a glimpse on them. Lobes got confirmed by Aerowolf. This is a big performance from them, 9 kills.
The problem is for C9, they're basically under the hammer from both teams on either side. AG's been left alone because they have that hill they can play with, and again, you'll have the logs on the floor, you'll have the stones and the rocks that you can play behind.
Oh, Yak. He's peeked him. He spotted him.
Like a helmet as well over there.
Yeah, I don't see a helmet on one of the players, but there is damage coming back in. You've got to be really careful on these windows. Even if you think you're safe from one angle, you've potentially exposed yourself from the other. And the M24 at this point as well, you're looking at that as a really nice piece of work. You have to claim yourself maybe an avenue into being able to push teams out of these compounds or maybe create space for yourself. And it looks like General is going to do some madman tricks here.
Just to make things a little bit more spicy, we only have 1 team that was in the top 4 coming into this, in the top 4, so bigger picture when we look at the scoreboard. This just evens things out further and puts more emphasis on the next 2 games in front of us.
It was already so close. Literally 1 point
they're sending
is
it, Lauren.
the difference.
They're going for it.
Yeah, they're going. AG are running in. It's going to feed OG and Entus Force. That is a big amount of kills. Homeboy still stands, but not for long. It's ENF. It is OG and Entus Force to do it. Cloud9 are using this potentially as the go point, but Aerowolf just tried to move in. Cloud9 have potential trouble on 2 fronts, and at the moment the fire comes in from Entus, but who's knocking on the door? It's Aerowolf with the nades.
Entus can watch this one unfold and then make their move. Maybe they even press more towards the north and surprise AW1. They're sitting in the building, the Lekatau back. He can pretty much give so much information.
Oh, that molly.
ENF might wait for Aerowolf to demolish C9 and then make an advancement on them.
Why not play for placement? Be smart about it. Find that right timing on the balance. Move in when you feel they're weak and expending their bullets, their nades, and all that utility. Aerowolf are peeling off this, though. They're not overcommitting. Maybe expecting that reflex, that play back in from Entus. They did leave Cat out in the compound, potentially to spot this out. And with the blue forcing people slowly but surely further together, we're going to see this explosion happen.
I'm glad you touched on Katao. He's basically the safety net. He's giving the information back and he's feeding it well to the rest of the teams. They do disengage from it for now.
Where did ENF go?
The smokes are up, the nades are out. And this is it though. Once all this utility is expended, Lauren, there's nothing left in the tank. They have to go head to head and tackle these players.
Profi enough went on the east. They tried to fight them, but they've gone down. It's ENF to confirm it. Katao's nade did find K-Mine, but now down to 2 squads. And Entus look wounded, and Aerowolf know that. This is the time to pounce. This is the time to strike.
But how much do they have left in the tank? They sat for a while, but they used a hell of a lot of utility. That grenade's pretty... Oh, it's a flashbang. Okay, that's what we're down to. Dregs at the bottom of the barrel. Final few smokes come up. Entus. Not quite center of the circle here. Aerowolf do have the ground advantage, in my opinion.
RDK's got a really nice spot, though. Him and some of ENF, they have 2 players kind of doing the same thing. Kato and Hexagon are going to try and go for the flush. This is almost mirrored to a degree. This is very similar play from both sides. It looks like they're both out of utility in the form of grenades, but the fire comes in. That's going to be Entus Force finding the first couple of bullets to connect. Indigo is waiting to see if anyone would dare try and rush forward, but now they're going to have to start really moving. The last couple of flashes go in. Xiong Yang and Yak trying to slowly creep their way forward. They're all prone here, Richard. They're all looking at each other through just these tiny bits of smoke remaining. Oh, he spotted him! He sees 1! He sees 2! Oh, this is huge for Aerowolf!
The swings there, the melt comes through, spins on a pinhead! Aerowolf 1! They take their time to bite, and I tell you what, it goddamn hurts.
Those 2 teams at the end just went so close. That was almost mirrored the way they approached that situation.
14 kill game and 10 points from the win. 24 points in the bag, Lauren. That's going to do them well. I know they was down towards the bottom end of the table.
It's going to make the middle pack insane now.
Oh, I have no idea who's going to win this, and I love it.
Yeah, it is anyone's game. I know we harp on about it. I know we say it a lot, but it cannot be more true than now. Suddenly, we have, Entus were, in 6th prior to this. I think they were down quite low. You had Aerowolf towards the bottom of the table. Cloud9 weren't exactly pushing the higher echelons. Now, with them finishing in the top 3, they now move themselves higher up that board. Again, closing in on this middle pack of teams that are just so close by.
So Entus were knocking on the door. They came second there. How many kills to boot? 7. Okay, they were down in 6th. They're certainly out of that top 3, top 4 region. BSG, again, just below them in 7th. They picked up 5 with a couple of kills to boot as well. NIP, fortunately, once again, nowhere to be seen. No kills, no points at all, once again. So far today, they've had a 10th finish, a 12th finish, 13th finish. Now a 16th.
I just want to see the leaderboards. That's all I want to see now, is just keeping tabs on how people are moving here and how close that middle pack is going to get.
I don't know if it's a chase or a race. Like, honestly, with how much is on the line here, yes, you have a championship at the end of it and a trophy. But there is a lot of emphasis on these 3 spots for globals at the end of it.
Yes, absolutely. Again,
every region wants it. Just you might not necessarily win your spot and ticket here and do anything like that and lift the trophy, but securing one of those gives you a potential chance for the 2 million at the end of the year.
Exactly. It's the long con, isn't it, for these teams as well? You're thinking, as much as you need this now and you want this now, your career could depend on you getting that spot too. That could give you such an elevated position to play in the most competitive tournament that there is going for PUBG. Again, I think this lends to Erangel is now a complete different beast too. We've seen Miramar, we saw the teams who've been strong at it, still being strong at it. And I'm wondering who steps up here. Who is going to push themselves into those top spots? Who can be consistent in those last 2 games? Because that's the big thing here, Richard. We said it. If a couple of teams, one team, can have back-to-back big games, you can go up into that top 3 instantly.
I think if it's one thing we can say so far throughout this competition, the biggest and most pivotal winner is PUBG Esports on a global scale.
Yeah.
Like, SEA is turning up in a big, big way.
Oh, absolutely.
I just, we can do as much research as we want on all these teams, all the regions, the pro leagues, the local championships. But all that doesn't mean anything until you're up there on the main stage, playing for not only your region, but the chance to be crowned a champion also.
Yeah, I think we need to take a second, and I'm sure our eyes are going to be glued to the leaderboards, but we have to remember that was a winner from someone that we didn't expect. We saw Airwolf come out and look incredible. So let's get away from us and actually hear from the players themselves. Down with Freya.
Thank you very much, guys. I am down here with Iki in the booth after that fantastic win. Now, you guys, before this game, you didn't really seem to show up. What changed in this map?
Okay, Iki, sebelumnya kan ini di bottom. Apa yang berubah sampai bisa dapat chicken dinner?
Awalnya kita itu di mental. Masalah nomor pertama kita itu mental. Di hari kedua kita memberikan mental yang lebih. Makanya kita bisa mendapatkan hasil yang bagus.
Okay, the problem first of all is based on their mental, their spirit is down. So on the second day, they try to bring it up, and that's why they can achieve chicken dinner now.
Well, we saw you going up against Enter's Force in that last fight. Can you tell me a bit about that? Because you were very stealthy. What was your approach to that final fight?
Enter Force yang terakhir yang sampai dapat chicken dinner itu karena apa?
Karena rotasi.
It's due to the rotation.
Rotation, yes, because we saw you guys looking very, very strong on that. Now, we have 2 more maps to play before the end of the tournament. What are you going to do to make sure you are finishing high on the leaderboard?
Oke, masih ada 2 turnamen lagi. Apa yang akan direncanakan supaya bisa naik posisinya?
Tetap konsisten.
Consistent achieving what they have done today.
Well, we hope so, and we hope your mental game is on strong form for the team. Thank you so much for that, guys. We're going to head back over to the desk.
There we are, thank you very much, as we do have Airwolf 1 managing to take themselves the chicken dinner. 24 points to their names after 1 game alone. And to think that started out with one of their members being almost knocked, driving through the water, and everybody having to come and pick him up and then finding their way via boat down near the south position of the main island. A great result for them, and a win that they should be extremely proud of here on this great stage.
Absolutely. At the start of the last match, I said it's possible that people pull ahead, right? SDK did a 26K game. We've had 25s, we've had 23s. It's possible, but I'll be honest, I was being a little bit facetious. It's rare that we see that, and these guys come out and drop 24 points on a giant smackdown. And also, I'm going to say something. Airwolf is the anomaly in this tournament because they don't seem to pack frag grenades like squirrels hoarding nuts for the winter. These guys live for smokes. Second game in a row where they have literally filled half of a circle with smoke and then executed out of it.
I was really surprised to see the Enter's Force stun grenade not being followed up, because that would have been a game-winning push right there. Yeah. It's 180-degree stun. It's you don't hear anything. You go completely mute. The audio, you get audible, and there's just you have to push on that. They just threw it over just to confuse.
I have a theory that the third member threw it over to confuse, and I think that he pseudo-flashed both of the pushers.
Sure.
Because the second the flash went off, they both hit the ground and went prone and started crawling.
Maybe.
So I think that that's a possibility. Because remember, it's not as bad if you're like a little farther away from it, but I definitely think that happened.
Well, boys, let's take a look at the overall leaderboards here, as we do have only 2 games remaining. As Armory Gaming has joint first place up towards the top, 79 points each. Guys, how many people on their little cards before the first 2 days thought Armory Gaming would currently be in #1 first place and have the potential to become our Global Summit champions? That is madness.
That is absolutely insane. And they're coming out from a team that just put their team together, kind of getting a stand-in. There were only 3 players qualifying for this.
Oh my.
Hanboyan, Dogmans, these guys have been pulling up. They have gotten 8 kills last games and 12 points from that. They're now tied with OP Gaming Rangers, but they're on top because the tiebreaker is kills, and they got 7 more.
Yeah, the team from Thailand here really showing that they are an absolute force to be reckoned with. Very impressive.
I'll tell you who put them on their winning sheet. The 24,000 viewers watching the Thai stream right now.
I think it was more than that before.
Yeah, I think it was up to 52 last time they won, so it's going to keep going.
250,000.
But it's insane how much they've got support back home.
Yeah.
They're putting up some big numbers, and it's unexpected here, but lots of props to the guys from Armory and how they have played this entire entire tournament.
Absolutely. I think, you know, even if they do not win at this point, everyone is going to be saying, okay, they're a massive threat, especially towards the later stages of this year, going into our, you know, World Championship at the very end. Now let's breaking down a little bit more of what was going on here during this game, because obviously when we take a look at the highlights here to start things off, our circle presented an interesting challenge Avenger at the very beginning.
I mean, these circles are some of the very hardest. Shoot to kill managed to get themselves into a decent position, kind of rotating into a decent spot. They got a lot of kills on the NIP guys. Unfortunately, NIP, they went out first and then didn't get any kills with them.
Yeah, I mean, it was a very tough circle. During the exit interview on the last Miramar game with Purdy Curdy, he got asked, what's the secret to winning a Wrangle? And he said, just no military circles. And then literally out of the gate, military circle. 4th one in this tournament, 3rd one in the finals. We've only played 4... Really? We've only played 4 Erangel maps so far.
Yeah, and we've had 2.5.
2.5.
Yeah. Okay, I'll give you a half. But I mean, it was still, that's the easiest transition for OP Rangers to make off the island, right? They have lots and lots of options. It was pretty nuts that happened yet again.
Interesting to see also Envy and Liquid dropping on the Fairy Pier compound. Obviously, Envy was a bit away from Yes9, but I kind of feel like they could have made it anyway.
Yeah, they usually grab cars around that sort of S compound, so I'm not sure why they chose to go down there. I think that they may be thinking towards the future. Hard to say.
Maybe that regional pride here as we continue things on. But of course, all of these highlights of Aerowolf 1 brought to us by NVIDIA. Of course, that final point is a point that we may get to later on in terms of the overarching kind of structure of everything that's going on. But I want to focus on Aerowolf 1 here because, of course, they absolutely deserve it. And I think that it's almost kind of all been leading up to this because we have seen them getting to the kind of final stages of a lot of these games, maybe 4th, 5th, kind of around there. But now it's finally paid off. They found themselves the spot, and they got a big kill count to boot, Avenger.
They got a huge kill count, and the way they started the game was impressive. They jumped into boats, they had a rough transition, they came into Milta, then all of a sudden Envy showed up, and boom, there's the first 4 free frags here.
Yeah.
Oof. Yeah, I mean, I think Envy was a little bit out of their element, trying something different, but Aerowolf 1 came out with 14 kills, huge amount of points, and they had to fight. They made a good choice early on location, and then from there, it was just fight after fight. I don't even, honestly, the fact that they had that many smokes at the end of the round, I think is pretty impressive to me, considering that must have been it. They probably used the frags in the first fight, and all they could find was smokes after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to spot the crawlers of Entus there down towards the end, it was extremely impressive in itself. But anyway, let's take a look at how this game evolved, of course, because the first circle presented quite the challenge, and then we saw some interesting rotations. Scoom already outlined that Team Liquids was an interesting one. It really didn't pay off for them truly in the end as the shifts moved a little bit further north from the coast of Avenger.
Obviously, them being here that far down south in such a rough circle here, this next circle, it kind of benefited a little bit. They should have been fast. They should have been to the Liquid compound before, but they didn't have any cars, so they couldn't rotate in there. But this northern shrink, the 4th circle, Sims talked about it. This is what we know is bound to happen. Armory Game was already in a good spot. Entus Force was already in a good spot as well. But what's interesting is that Aerowolf, they managed to get into that compound and hold it down and shoot everybody in the shoot at everybody in the northern side, and also push towards and third party that last fight between Cloud9 and OG and Entus Force.
Absolutely. And then we come down to the final circle where the rubber meets the road. Armory Gaming gets picked off, I think, thankfully, for a lot of people who are still hoping to have a chance at hoisting the trophy. And it comes down to those final 3. Entus Force, remember, I thought that they had a high chance coming out of the middle pack. They're performing well. They're doing good on this map, and look for that to continue. They came out with 8 kills in a 2nd place. So
they're 3 points behind number 1.
Exactly.
You said it just before this game.
These guys have
You're
prime
looking
potential.
out for them, yes?
Let's talk about Armory Gaming, our joint first place leader at the moment, because there was a moment where they're in that compound, kind of 4, 5, 6 teams, 6, 7 teams left, and they could have quite easily resided themselves to just walking in, maybe via the road, maybe not via the road even, I should say, that would be just tragic, but via where all the downed trees are, etc., and then just try and play for the circle. However, very astutely pointed out in our commentary team, they did mention that their aggression, moving up towards the top and being able to take out those teams teams was so important about them getting that few extra points and a lot of few extra kills too.
I mean, 8 kills in total here. Yeah. Overall, pushing into the position. I feel like they made that call because they didn't want to push towards OGN.
Yeah.
Because they were going to die to that. They wanted to wrap up those kills. They also saw in the kill feed. There's a few knocks coming up here. If we can third party or fourth party this fight, we're going to get these extra few kills and wrap up, because that's also placements. So if they crashed that compound before, the OGN guys, and went out before the kind of the northern fights, they went down, that was also 2 or 3 placement points they would have missed out on potentially if they just died completely.
And in all fairness, that uphill position where the debris is sort of scattered everywhere is actually a pretty powerful position. In that circle, leaving the house would have been really tough once that circle closed otherwise. So I think it was both position, but also, you're right, the boldness to do it instead of we're ahead, you know what, maybe it's a bad position, but we pick up some placement and 1 or 2 kills, shows really the tenacity of this region. But all of these regions, absolutely incredible. 6 teams are within 8 points of hoisting the trophy. Wow. And I believe it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different regions in that list. So 5 regions, 6 teams, 8 points, 1 trophy, baby.
And we only have 2 more games left to determine it. It's going to be exciting. Let's head down to the fantastic Frankie as well, who might be with someone over at the stage.
I'm with Team Cloud9, and more specifically K-Mine, because he's actually had a cracking day. How did you actually reset after last night's games?
I mean, there's just no point in being negative about bad games happening, so I just try to forget about what happened and just take every game like a new, and that's how I do it, yeah.
And talk to me about round 12. We saw you really fragging out. 8 kills just done by you, and 2 of them were on Team Liquid. Talk to me about that map.
So with this point system, when you're alone, there's not really a point in snaking unless you know you can get a lot of placement points. So I kind of just went for it. I was like, I'm going to go and kill as many people as I can. If I die, it's whatever. If I kill people, well, that's great. So it worked out.
And I do want to keep things positive, but you are 30 points behind our leaders, Armory Gaming. So I want to know what you want to get out of the rest of this experience in these final 2 rounds.
Okay, so at this point, we're kind of far behind, so we're kind of just going for as many points as we can. We're going to play greedy, we're going to play aggressive, get as many points as we can, and see what we can do.
And you guys have got a really positive attitude. Behind me, Profi's having a laugh. What's it like to play with the rest of the Cloud9 boys?
It's always a good time. I mean, there's ups and downs. Sometimes it's a little rough, but we always get back strong, and we just laugh. We're good friends, so it's always a good time, yeah.
And I think that might be one of the reasons the audience loves you. When I was talking about you this morning at the start of the show, we got a big cheer for Cloud9. Audience, do you like Cloud9? There we go, and I like Cloud9 too. So we've got to take a quick break, but when we come back, it's going to be the penultimate round of the FACEIT Global Summit.